No, dead. They're all dead.
Mamma mia!
The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bitter Marks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bitter Marks! Bitter Marks! There we go. What is up, smooth babies? Welcome to Bitter Marks. It's your favorite non-wrestling wrestling podcast coming to you normally Friday mornings. BitterMarks.com or wherever you get your podcast from. Normally in video form. Monday evenings. We record live at 9:05, but that is not going to do you any good next week. Why, you ask? Well, we'll get into that. Our email doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter right now. Don't worry about the email. All you got to worry about is it's me and it's you, and we're here and we're live and we're feeling good, except me. I'm not feeling good. I'm a little under the weather. I was under the weather yesterday. I'm under the weather today. Potentially COVID, potentially tuberculosis. Maybe neither one of those things. That cough came from my stomach. That's how sick I am. I was speaking, and the cough came out of a different part of my body. Anyway, I'm your host. My name is Sasha, and I'm joined by my dear, dear friend. It's Peewee.
Hey, there it is. Okay, it's working. What's going on? Hey, I'm here.
Hey-o!
Oh, I see Hattori Hanzo's in the chat. Putskid's in the chat. He's already worried for good reason. What's going on? How are you, man?
Is he worried about?
Sound great.
Is he worried about me or the opening of the show?
I think he's got reason for both.
Let's just bring in Tony. We are joined by the punctual prince of podcasting from parts unknown Illinois. It's producer Tony.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we living?
Producer Tiny over here.
Nicely done.
If you're not watching on YouTube, producer Tony has a wonderful picture of Mean Gene Okerlund where we found a blooper reel. It was a 15-minute Mean Gene blooper reel. And at one point, the graphics guy decided to put a Gene Tiny Dick Okerlund graphic on the screen. And the second Gene saw it, he pointed it out. What a beautiful picture. What a beautiful video as well. I mean, there's some incredible stuff on that. You watched that, Tony? You loved it?
Next to like the Vince McMahon song and dance video, this was number 2. This was a great video. I highly recommend all the smooth babies go back and watch it, because you'll have time to go watch old things.
There's a part in the last 2 minutes where it just becomes Macho Man highlights.
Yeah.
And one of the clips is Mean Gene walking off of away from the screen, and just all you hear is Macho Man's voice go, "Arriba!"
I did hear that when I watched it. I did hear that, and I popped. Yes.
And the Iron Sheik one, he's cutting a promo in a different language. And the only thing that you can understand is when people are walking on the screen and he mentions their name. But then, all of a sudden, Fink walks out in street clothes. He's calling Fink out. Moolah comes out from the back. It's just there's 10 different people Sheik's cutting this promo. It is a fantastic video. We have to tweet that out.
Yes.
Tiny dicks all around. How you doing, Tony? How's life treating you?
I'm feeling good. I had a good day today. Yeah, things are good here.
Everybody made it through Halloween?
When was that? Yesterday?
Yeah, we made it.
Okay, good.
What was your? I still don't know what your costume was, producer Tony.
Yeah, so there's the most popular Netflix show of all time is called Squid Game. It's a South Korean TV show.
Killer, your costume was crazy.
Yeah, I got a red jumpsuit. I 3D printed the mask.
I knew you made the mask.
Wow.
I made the mask.
That's the hardest part. The rest of it's just a red jumpsuit, but the fact that the mask looks so good, that was really nicely done. And then Jen was the big animatronic.
Yes.
Japanese thing, whatever it was.
Korean, please.
Korean thing, yes, Korean.
Yeah, she was the red light, green light robot that's in the first episode. So highly recommend it. If you want to read subtitles, it's a great show. It's all in Korean.
Yeah, I'm out. I was in until that part. I only
There's
watched
a dubbed version as well. If you can handle the dubbed where the words don't line up exactly with their mouths.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm good with that. Especially
there's
if
a version
it's
of that out there too.
especially if it's like cool voice actors that like don't sound like the people that they look like. If they're going for like trying to sound like the person,
No,
I'm against
it's
it.
comically bad.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
comically
like.
bad.
Hell
And you'd be
yeah.
into it.
Well, Peewee, what did you do for Halloween costume wise?
Nothing. I mean, basically this. I had a hat on. No, I was just I was just walking around, walking Connor to, house after house after house from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock nonstop.
Did he clean up?
He really did. He's been wearing that Overwatch Diva costume that I don't know, I didn't tweet it out, but I sent it to you guys. Giant box, 24-inch by 24-inch box that he had on top of him. It looked fantastic. He got 1.5 houses deep, realized he couldn't reach out to grab the candy, and we went back to the house and switched him into a pirate costume.
You had a backup pirate costume just like ready to go?
I think it was an old costume that Steph had him for him like a year ago or something.
Oh, okay.
But it was a good thing we had it, because I spent 3 weeks on that costume for nothing.
24-inch Diva box.
It's my boy.
24-inch Diva box. Now, did it eventually get changed? Is it Diva like the word Diva?
I mean, no, but that's how you pronounce it. It's D.VA.
I gotcha. Very cool. Well, we decided. I guess I decided. I don't know how to say this. This podcast
We've been talking for a long time.
This podcast is over. Is that the way to say this?
It's a very quick summary of it, yeah.
All right. So, last night we recorded the Flips and Bumps podcast, and I had such a bad time recording it with Peewee that I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Talk to Peewee anymore.
Not true, but before we started the thing, I floated the idea, hey, what do you think about a little hiatus, my friend? And you agreed with me. My reasoning here is I haven't put the effort towards this podcast like I did. I know it's hilarious to say that, but I used to put such effort into this podcast, attempting to create skits or songs or games or trivia or something for us to do that made it fun while talking about wrestling. And it didn't need to be current wrestling. It was wrestling based stuff. And I feel like right around 13 episodes into this podcast, I was kind of done with my ideas.
Okay.
So then we got through 100. I really feel that's about the time that I was kind of like, I don't know what else to do here. Maybe a little bit earlier, but Bishop saying Sasha lost his smile. It's true. It is true.
Yeah, it's about time. I've been saying this for months. I haven't felt that this podcast has been where it needs to be a podcast. It's since like episode 75, around 80. You know what I mean, I've been floating this. I think I've been floating this the most to you guys. I originally signed up to do this podcast to tell some old wrestling stories, to talk about wrestling theory and just random stuff that we were interested in wrestling. And at a certain point, you run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we've told our stories, right? So like, we don't have any more stories, and we're not going to tell the stories again. We actually kind of do tell the same stuff occasionally. We say it now and again, which is fine, but we're not going to go through our stories and stuff like that again. So the podcast would need to change going forward, and it's possible. Like, I'm not saying that that's an impossible task. It's just a task that's like, okay, got to put some work into it to go into a different direction to do some other things. And I just haven't felt like putting that work in lately for a while. I don't know what it is. Then
you got other stuff going on.
And this morning I text producer Tony, and he's like, absolutely no way. So we'll be back. I mean, next week.
Yeah, you know me. I never miss an episode. I'm always.
He bleeds bitter marks, right?
Now, I floated the idea to Peewee. I didn't float the idea to producer Tony. If you guys wanted to continue without me, I'm all for it. I can
Tony,
see.
guess what I said.
I can see a Hattori Hanzo-led podcast taking you guys to new heights.
Well, I guess I'm doing a solo wrestling podcast now on every Monday live at 9:05.
There you go. I will say the one thing that did rejuvenate and put some energy back into the show has been the YouTube. Going live every Tuesday or Monday has really put a shot in the arm to us. It's given us more ability to do more physical stuff, like media stuff, like visual stuff. That's the word I'm looking for. I think that's really helps me motivate me as far as continuing on with this podcast. But even then, it's definitely my motivation has dropped off significantly for this show. And it's nothing against this show. None of us watch wrestling. Right,
yeah.
Sasha? I know you watch. What do you watch? AEW and Impact?
Yeah, that's what I'm down to.
Right. We can't keep a wrestling show going on memories when we don't watch current product.
And now, do you guys think that the fact that this is a weekly show plays into this a little bit? Just the weekly burnout of 135 weeks in a row for you guys? I mean, Peewee missed like one show this whole run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sasha, you've been here for every single one.
Never missed a show.
Yeah,
I've missed like 80%. Yeah, I've missed like 80% of the
Tony's
Bitter
ready
Marks
to go.
episode.
He wants another 100.
I don't think so. I mean, really? Speaking for myself, because like if I was still coming up with stuff and like I know what you're saying. Like maybe the reason I'm not coming up with stuff is because I have to come up with so much stuff.
Sure.
But I feel like, I mean, I still like coming here. I like talking to you guys. This is obviously a way of our friends keeping up with.
That's really been the best part of the show. Is just keeping in touch with you guys on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
the
and
wrestling part I don't care about. And interacting with the people who listen to the show, the primetime Satori Hanzo, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff is awesome. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm very lazy and wouldn't be sending out texts and talking to people. This is the only like source I have to the outside world. And...
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to Giuseppe since he moved to Italy. I'm like, okay, he's out of here. I haven't talked to Worm in, it's got to be 10 years at this point. I have no clue where Worm lives. I don't know what he does.
He's at a Clippers game, apparently.
Wow.
Here's the thing, like, I'm not saying like this podcast is done and we're finished. It's just kind of like, well, we got to figure out what we're going to do here, because wrestling is not really the way that that we're headed, even though the entire bottom section of our YouTube says otherwise. But, I mean, Putski brings up, how about a monthly show? Tony, I know you said that earlier when I was talking to you too. How about bi-weekly? How about monthly? I was like, how about WrestleMania?
That's fine too.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think that it's gonna go away for good. I just think like we gotta have a plan before we attempt some stuff. You know what I mean?
I think the best way to go about this is to take some time. Let's regroup.
Yeah, and
then let's have a conversation about how we want this to go, if we want it to go on. But my first reaction was like, wow, they could have just fired me. They didn't have to end the podcast. I mean, I know I don't do much around here, but hey.
I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, I completely disagree.
You're one of the pillars of this show. This show could not be done. Sasha and I do another podcast where it's just him and I. It is not entertaining. Like, it's informative, but it is not entertaining.
Yeah, and that's the difference between that podcast and this one, is like that podcast every week we can just say, hey, this is what I did with selling stuff. Here's the information. Good, and I try to do Green Day puns on occasion.
Those were fantastic.
And like that's what that podcast is. It's like information about the topic. This is like trying to keep up with wrestling, and that is a big part of it, Peewee. Like you said, big enough part where I am no longer on STF Underground as well. You
told me that last night. That shocked me.
Yeah, I did not get fired. It's been 100 and however many weeks over there. I didn't get fired. I texted Suave last night. I was like, tomorrow is my last episode.
This is my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah. this isn't a standard job. I'm not going to give a notice here. Like, he gave me a question this week, and I was like, and I've been thinking about it for a while anyway, but he gave me a question this week that was about, like, NXT, and I was like, I haven't watched in 2 months or since they started doing their new things. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason or whatever, but it was just like, it doesn't make sense for me to do this anymore when I'm not paying attention. I do still watch wrestling. I do still watch AEW. Sometimes it's embarrassing, like it was last week when the top heels in the company came out as Ghostbusters, and then the top face, Hangman Adam Page, took off the mask because he was the Stay Puffed what is it? The Marshmallow guy?
You had it,
Marshmallow Man, yes.
Yeah, so Hangman was in there and unmasked to create a... it was horrible. It was
That was the
god-awful.
last straw, huh? The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? You're like, I can't do this anymore, guys.
It may have been. It really may have been. I mean, it's a lot of stuff leading up to it, but that was kind of like, oh man, this is... And like, by next week, whatever, I will sing the praises of AEW again, because I do think it's the only actual wrestling show on television. But there's just like so much that I don't really care about in wrestling. We don't talk about WWE, NXT at all. We don't talk about Impact except for Johnny Swinger at all. So wrestling stuff is kind of all right. I mean, that's out of here.
I'm in the like at the top of my refereeing career all time, right? Like I'm doing more stuff right now than I ever have. But that said, because of that and because of the people that I'm around, I can't go around telling all of these stories that I'm gathering right now. You know what I mean? It's I don't want to get myself in trouble. I don't want to cost myself any spots. And not to say I'm hiding any stories. I don't really have any juicy dirt on anybody. But if I did, it's not like I can go out and talk about those people. It's so even that doesn't motivate me to want to continue this show.
If you don't think this show has changed into something that is just clinging to life, just listen to the rest of this episode. It's just you'll see
the pictures for the rest of this episode, right?
You'll see the notes that I have. You'll see
this episode to like a typical episode 24, or you know what I mean, like the heyday of the show. It's not, and not to say that
you
it's
can't
bad,
because no one has that audio but me.
I was going to ask you that during this hiatus, is this going to give you more time to load up the backlog?
I'm gonna load up the rocket ship with space fuel, my friend, or whatever. I think we're on episode 5. I gotta put up.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have the space. I'm gonna keep paying for the thing, so I may as well put up old stuff.
Amazing.
Wow.
Here's what I think is gonna happen. I think we're gonna take the rest of the year off. I think we're not going to have our tradition of the Pop the Boys contest, which is sad.
What are you going to do with all that junk you've been collecting for the
I know.
whole
I have
year?
a box that says wrestling stuff in it, and I don't even know what's in it. That's the best part, is collecting all the random junk, and then I open it.
You're just going to send SWK and Goff just a box of random wrestling.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Shit.
And that actually may be the first episode we do back. I will just open the box and see what it is, and we'll choose who to give it to. First person to listen to our podcast gets this 24-inch Diva box. And that is actually a good title for the box, because there's flags of Impact Divas in that box.
Perfect.
What's the name of this episode? Is it Sasha Lost His Smile, or is it 24-inch Diva Box? So that's about it. If you guys, smooth babies in the YouTube chat, if you have anything you want to get off your chest, now's the time to do so. You got about 40 minutes. Say whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
We see Putski says Colleen is furious.
No.
Don't know if that's related to this podcast or not. But whatever. Let us know anything you guys want before we get out of here. Until then, let's take this thing up, baby. We're going to climb the ladder of greatness here.
Let's end this on a peak, right?
This next segment.
Quick question. Hold on.
Nope. It's over.
It's over.
All right, go ahead.
I just have a question, just because I don't know the answer. Are you guys going to continue to do flips and bumps, or can I still get my Sasha and Peewee fix by listening to that show?
That's a good question. That will Now, sadly, that show is also running out of steam in one area.
Yeah.
If you're not a common listener to that show, we have a segment that we have where we talk about garage sale talk. That's the segment that we call it. And garage sale talk is just where Sasha and I go over our weekly pickups of stuff that we picked up at garage sales. It's becoming winter. There are no garage sales. So that segment is and that's like that's the meat and potatoes of that show. That show will continue. We have plenty of other stuff. Sasha and I are going to continue to. We'll be listing on eBay. We still are sharing tips on how to, how to use eBay.
Look at all these sealed VHS tapes I got, baby.
VHS. We have
Look at this guy.
3 to 6 hours of VHS talk to go through.
Well, that's good.
And December is like the hot time for eBay, so there'll be a ton of issues that come up. There'll be a ton of returns. There'll be a ton of everything to talk about. That show will continue without hiatus, without any bumps in the road.
If I feel like posting those shows once again.
And I just want to plug, you can still hear me on the Scoop and Poop podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Every Wednesday we record. I don't know why anybody would, but you could listen to me, Bishop, and Turtle on that show.
Bishop is great on a weekly basis, and the rest of you guys are in attendance.
Did you listen last week? We had Hanzo on. It was a great episode. If
I did,
so
and that was actually the thing that got me started on like maybe he can take over on this podcast because that's an entertaining man. And by the way, his fascination with wrestling is like way cooler than mine. Like mine just goes back to Billy Joe Travis all the time. He's like talking about Detroit wrestling and Canadian wrestling and all kinds of different things. If he's got the bug in him to like create games out of that stuff, I mean, he would be a way better host than me. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe we could have maybe he could do a daily Bittermarks show.
Hourly. I think hourly.
Oh, there you go. Just a nonstop 24-hour stream for life.
Just follow Bishop around his normal life, and he'll give us thoughts about Impact.
Hanzo says, I will trade my fantasy roster for back issues of Aftermags. And Bishop responds, I defeated Hattori Hanzo in fantasy football this week. So that is the type of great content that you could get over at scoopandpoop.podbean.com from here on out. Now let's talk about important things. That was not important. What is important, guys? I watched some movies this week.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Let's just do a movie review podcast with Sasha.
I'll one up you. Let's just do a weekly Fast and Furious podcast.
Let me tell you something. I watched the Roy Wood Jr. special. He has a new special on Comedy Central. Fantastically done. Has a Fast and Furious bit going back to the original Fast and Furious. So I know you're
check that out.
Now good luck finding it because Comedy Central is no longer a real channel. It's a god-awful shell of a company. But if you can find that thing, it is a fantastic special. I also watched Hubie Halloween. Now, let me tell you guys about Hubie Halloween. This came out last Halloween, I believe, right?
Last year, yeah.
I watched this last year. I remembered nothing from this movie. And then I watched the movie and still remembered nothing from the movie. Today is 3 days after watching Hubie Halloween for the second time. No clue what Hubie Halloween is about.
Who's in Hubie Halloween? I've never seen this.
Adam Sandler and everyone else who's ever been in an Adam Sandler movie is a cameo.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he talks like he does Adam Sandler, which is fine. It's
more
a fine
Adam Sandler. Please do more of that. That was great.
It's a fine movie. I'm not like against it. It is what it is. You know, it's entertaining, but it's what's the word I'm looking for? Formulaic, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. By next Halloween, I'll have to watch it again because I will not have remembered it. It might be the greatest movie of all time because after you watch it, you're like, oh, what happened? I totally blanked on the last 2 hours of my life.
So is Megan given the Hubie Halloween mandates here at the Sasha house?
She brought it up. She watches a Halloween movie every night of October. That's been her thing since I've known her. And so she's just out of control.
Like horror stuff? Does she do like scary stuff?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Can't do that.
Yeah, me neither. She watches all that stuff, and I don't talk to her for a month. So win-win. You know what I mean? I've been. Go ahead.
I was going to say on the other side, Steph has started watching Christmas movies about 2 weeks ago.
Oh no!
Right. She wants to start setting up Christmas decorations in a week.
No.
That's what I said. I
No.
don't
Too damn
control
early.
This. I don't
Thanksgiving.
control this, right?
Day after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That's the way it normally
Yes.
is. But she's like, nope, we're gonna get it up early. We're gonna get it done. Yeah, I wasn't a fan, but what am I gonna do?
Bishop says somebody should do a Police Academy podcast called The Highest of Hightower. I believe I have that RF video, The Highest of Hightower Volume 1 and 2. I also started watching BoJack Horseman. You guys heard about BoJack
I know what
Horseman?
that is, but is it any good?
It's all right. It's a nice little background thing to watch if you're not paying attention and need a little noise. It's funny. Will Arnett's in it. I'm a Will Arnett fan. I don't know who else is in it. It's a cartoon. He's a horse. He plays a former 90s TV show dad, like Bob Saget, but he's a horse. And so that
Hilarity
exists.
ensues.
Yeah, sometimes. And then last night I watched a classic, a Turner classic movie, I would assume.
Shawshank?
I've never seen that movie.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate when people make references to it because I do not understand it. But
You know where to find it, brother. You know what I'm saying?
maybe, but it is behind a couple other movies that I want to watch, such as the one that I watched last night, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Ah, yes.
First time seeing Ernest Scared Stupid?
No, hundreds.
Oscar snub. Ernest Scared Stupid.
Absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit about Ernest Scared Stupid. Ernest Scared Stupid was actually the last of a 4-picture deal with Disney Touchstone Pictures. So that's like when Ernest was making bank. That movie cost $9.5 million to make, and they made back $12 million. Ernest is making people millions. You know what I'm saying? And it's a great movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's trolls, and the only way to get rid of the trolls is to spray them with milk. Fantastic.
I didn't remember that.
They also, the trolls turn children and dogs into wood. So that's, I mean, a positive.
I don't remember the wood bits. Yeah, I remember that.
So after this movie, the next, however many Ernest movies they are, were either independently funded or straight to VHS. I wanted to know, do you guys know how many Ernest movies there are? You want to take a guess?
Ask. I have no idea.
That's a great question.
I would guess like 7. Do you know the answer to this, by the way?
I do.
I'm gonna go.
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 10 because there's probably some bad ones that nobody knows about.
Well, I don't know about that second part of your sentence, but yes, actually there are 10 Ernest movies.
Wow, nice work.
Really?
Now, technically there's 9. There's 9 Ernest blank movies, right?
Okay.
But there's one, the first one that he was ever in was like a science fiction movie where like his character was there, but it wasn't actually called like Ernest Does Science Fiction or whatever. I know, Tony, we talked about a special one today.
Do we have to talk about this now?
No. But I will. Do you want me to name the movies? The Ernest movies?
Sure. Fill some time.
Or
you guys can guess the controversial one when we get to it. I'm sure.
do you guys want to guess all of them?
No, I'd read them off. We got to get out of here.
All right. Ernest Scares Stupid. Slam Dunk Ernest. Ernest Goes to School. Ernest Rides Again. Ernest in the Army. Ernest Saves Christmas. A couple others I can't read. Ernest Goes to Jail. Dr. Otto, which is the one with the Ernest character in it. And
Interesting.
I'll say, because I can't see any other ones here, Ernest Goes to Africa is the last one. Now, Ernest Goes to Africa is great because the catchphrase is, and Africa will never be the same. So, I don't know what Ernest does in Africa.
Oh, man.
But I do know it'll never be the same. And I actually... I'm not, you know what? We're going to edit it here. But yeah, so anyway, I gotta watch all these Ernest movies because they are fantastic. I don't know if you guys know, Ernest had a children's TV show.
Really?
It was called Hey Vern, It's Ernest. There's 13 episodes. I got the DVD complete box set if you guys want to buy that, because I know that's not on the Plex Express, the Plex Express. What's it called?
Yes, you nailed it.
But yeah, anyway, that's about it for Ernest. Hey, I came up with a movie idea though. You guys want to hear this?
Please.
Jim Varney stars, and
you know
who
what?
else is in it?
I think we should keep this podcast going for another 135 episodes with
Just
segments like this.
Ernest talk.
I came up with a movie idea. It's kind of like Expendables, the Expendables.
I'm in.
However, it's only 90s bullies, like people who played bullies in 90s movies.
Oh, okay.
So you get
like
all
O'Doyle rules.
all
they're
the
in there.
O'Doyles. You got the Karate Kid guy.
Ah, yeah.
Jason Hervey, the Wayner from
Wayne,
Wonder
yeah.
Years. The guy who goes shush in Encino Man, he's got to be in it.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Buzz from Home Alone. Rex Manning from Empire Records. These are all Stifler. Stifler could probably be in it. But here's the thing. They were all kind of like bad guys in these movies. Not bad guys, but you know what I mean. Bullies. So you got to make a movie where they are the faces. And they are the ones being bullied. Because
Isn't this just Cobra Kai?
What's that? Should I just
see.
be watching Cobra Kai?
I believe so. I mean, it's not a montage of every bully ever, but in Cobra Kai, they have turned the heel from Karate Kid into the babyface.
Wow. Okay, I gotta watch the Karate Kid, and then that sounds great. I love the idea of flipping the bad guy into the good guy.
That's
for
a good idea.
the sake of movie.
It's a good way to reinvent the show.
Well, that's bullshit. I'm angry now. All right. Well, let me go on. Prediction contest. We're gonna still do it. We're gonna keep doing it on our own.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
We are okay.
That'll be the first segment when we come back, whenever that may be. I will update the 2021 prediction contest.
Will we keep? Well, okay. Well, so we keep doing. Are we gonna continue to do predictions during the hiatus?
You mean next year?
I mean,
Or for this year?
This is our last show of 2021.
We will be finishing predictions for 2021. That's
what I'm saying. So
yeah.
you'll continue to text Tony and I with
Correct.
the list of random Impact guys that we have
Yes.
no idea who they are until the end of the year. And then when we come back, we will let you guys know where we stand with the predictions.
Yes.
And if Peewee has paid off the 2020 bet, because we're still waiting on that.
We're
And
getting
if-
there.
I know, you're making
very
baby
close.
steps. I mean, you're almost at a year, you know.
Those shirts are still in the plastic right behind me. They've moved about 3 feet from where they were last week.
Hanzo brings up another good bully, Ben Stiller from Heavyweights. I just watched that recently. I mean, I watched it a
nice.
long time ago, but I watched it again recently, and fantastic.
Shooter McGavin. We can add Shooter McGavin.
Oh,
from,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a CGI add-in, but yeah.
He's dead?
Oh, he's passed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What? You just brought this podcast way down.
I can tell. Jeez.
Read the room. Jeez.
All right. Producer Tony, why don't you tell me about what's going on this weekend?
What's going on this weekend? All right, so
Peewee can't make it.
So my friend Marty, I used to do another podcast with him called Team Space Pod,
This was a great podcast. That's
all about video games.
Still available, I believe.
No, that's not true.
No?
We've been off the air for a couple years, but Marty has been doing this thing for
I mean, you can listen to the old ones.
I don't even know if that's true. I don't think you can.
All right.
Anyway.
Tell us
Marty
about Marty, yes.
Marty's a great guy. He's been doing this charity marathon for I think over 10 years. I think 10 years last year was his
that's right.
10 year. So what he does is he streams video games for 24 hours straight, collecting money for a charity. And the charity is a children's hospital in Ohio where Marty is from, and this hospital actually helped baby Marty when he needed some help as a young child. So it's a cause near and dear to Marty, and I always try to help him. A couple of our friends always try to help. Play video games with Marty, donate money to Marty.
Participate in the chat. Just keep him
Yeah,
busy.
just come hang out.
Make it a little more entertaining as much as you can.
Yeah.
To encourage other people to stick around and donate.
If you don't have any money to donate, that's totally fine. If you come and just hang out, watch the stream, interact in the chat, you can make fun of me because I'll be playing some video games with Marty this time around. It starts this Friday when this episode airs, if you're listening to the audio version, November 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
No chance Peewee would have got that right.
Correct.
And by the way, this is I went, I think, to the last 2 years of this, not the whole thing, but as much as I can. Sure. I made a big rookie mistake the first year, which was just donate a bunch of money at first. Not a bunch. I don't have a lot of money, but I donated money. I showed up, and I believe as Billy Joe Travis, I gave him currency.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, you did.
And then I was like, oh, well, I don't have any more money to give. And I noticed everybody else was giving $1 at a time, multiple times throughout. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did this completely wrong. So then I left and
Spread that out, yeah.
I don't know what
happened.
happened.
It's 24 hours straight. You're gonna be able to donate 24 hours straight. Let me tell you where you can find it this Friday, November 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You can go to twitch.tv/Marty Hess, all one word. Or you can get to the same spot by going to thisistherun.net. That's a joke that Marty bought a domain that points thisistherun.net to his Twitch stream. I will be playing some Destiny with Marty this Friday night. So if you want to watch me and him shoot some aliens, you should come check it out. It's a great time. It's a great cause. And I just help out in the smallest way possible. And I'm glad I was able to plug it on the last show of Bitter Marks of 2021.
There you go. I'm very disappointed that I cannot participate and donate. I mean, I'm sure I will jump on sometime late at night on Friday and get in there and donate something. But this is something that I think I talked about it last week. Connor and I have enjoyed sitting around watching this for a few hours before he goes to bed. I would make it a point to stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning. Last year, I think we all played Among Us together. That was the only one I participated on. And it's just a very, very fun time to just hang out and do it. And I'm sad and disappointed that this year, for the first time in 3 or 4 years since I've started watching Marty do this, I will be in a hotel and away from my setup where I can actually truly enjoy it. So I'm definitely looking forward to tuning in. It's just I'm not going to be able to enjoy it as much as I normally do.
Sure.
Tony, how long do you are you planning on being there? Do you try and do the whole 24 hours with him? Do you do as much as you can?
Well, Friday I'll probably be up pretty late with Marty because I'm going to be playing some Destiny 2 with him. I'll try and I'll hang in there until I can fall asleep, man, and then I'll wake up and the next morning I always check back in. So I try and
as much
hop
as
in
possible,
every once in a while. Exactly, yeah. It's good because Giuseppe in Italy now, he can cover the graveyard shift because he'll be awake.
Yeah.
We'll all be sleeping, but he can jump in.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be there Friday night too for at least a little while. You guys got me into it. I'm not a video game guy, you know this, but
it's not about video games.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Good cause, hanging out.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's kind of cool, the stuff that goes on during the thing. I've never met Marty in my life, but just watching him get tired. And then he'll go to get food and walk back. I remember 2 years ago he played that duck game. That was a highlight of my life. Watching that happen.
Wild Goose, or no,
Untitled
Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game. Yes, that's it.
But yeah, so he's got his kid involved. His wife was there. I turned down one time. His wife was playing. I was like, "Where's Marty?" I'm calling shenanigans on this, but he was eating a sandwich or something. But the people who go into that room and just chat the whole time, it's good stuff. And so you don't need to know Marty, is what I'm trying to say.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough Marty. Let's talk about GCW, guys. GCW. I don't know if they did this show yet or not, but they're doing Hammerstein Ballroom, which is interesting. That's where Raw used to be back in the day. That is where ECW did a lot of their shows late into the ECW career. And the owner, Brett Lauderdale, tweeted out a picture of Hammerstein Ballroom when it's empty. I thought that was pretty cool. If you've watched enough of the ECW pay-per-views, including the WWE ones, you know that balcony, if you're watching on the YouTube page.
Oh, yeah.
That's like
Iconic.
where Bradshaw was and those guys like yelling down. And I like pictures of buildings. I don't know. It's that basic. That's why this is a segment. I just thought that was a cool picture that he shared. Another interesting thing that happened in wrestling this week, Ring of Honor basically closing their doors. Peewee, not for good. They're like the bitter marks of wrestling promotion.
They're doing exactly what we're doing, aren't they?
Are we stealing their gimmick?
You know, I might have just thought of it based on the letter that they wrote to their fans. They said basically, I think they're doing their last event here, whenever that is. I don't know if it's December or whatever it is. But they're planning on regrouping and coming back hopefully by April. What do you know about this, Peewee? You knew a little bit more than I did.
It's the information out there is a little sketchy. Some people have said that the big thing is the talent, right? The guys who have been under contract with the Ring of Honor for very, very long, and the Ring of Honor's contracts are very strict, meaning you cannot work independent dates, you cannot work anywhere else, especially the big companies. And for the most part, these Ring of Honor contracts were very extended. They were very long, so there was no end in sight to get a lot of these guys in a bigger platform. Ring of Honor wasn't running big shows. They weren't doing big pay-per-views. So you couldn't get guys like Danhausen and other talent that I cannot name because I don't know anybody else except for Danhausen that's part of Ring of Honor.
They have guys like Brody King, PCO. Brody King works in New Japan. They have Rush and Bandito are the two like masked luchador guys who are, I mean, they've been heavily teased to always like they want to go sign with WWE. WWE wants those guys. They're like ridiculous athletes. They have people. They obviously have the older guys like Jay Lethal, who's been there for 100 years. Yeah, but. Yeah, if you're in Ring of Honor, you're in Ring of Honor. Like, you're not going anywhere else.
That's where it was. But now they're saying that either, depending on your contract, I think either your contract is now expiring at the end of 2021, as in like December 31st, you can work wherever you want. And then other guys were just like, okay, your contract's dissolved. You can go work wherever you want now. And which is interesting. It definitely does change up the wrestling landscape a little bit. Again, all the guys that Sasha named can possibly show up on AEW and WWE TV. I guess this was the case prior to last night, but in my opinion, the biggest free agent was Danhausen, right?
Yeah.
Right, and now he just had his leg broken in a match last night.
So him
he's laid up.
And Mance Warner, who's not a Ring of Honor guy, but who is a pretty big indie guy, a GCW guy. They both got injured on the same show, I believe. But Danhausen, I mean, right after this stuff came out, he tweeted a picture of CM Punk. And a lot of people were just assuming AEW is going to take him because of his popularity, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even if the guy can't wrestle, if he can't walk, for a guy like Danhausen doesn't have to wrestle. I mean, I've never seen him wrestle, and I still think he's entertaining.
Danhausen versus Orange Cassidy, book it.
Yeah, there you go.
7 stars if it's in Japan or whatever, and they won't work at all.
See, I believe Danhausen had his leg broken because
while signing a contract.
The pen slipped. No, the guy was doing what's the Shane McMahon, the Coast to Coast. The guy was doing Coast to Coast, and he just landed on Danhausen's leg and shattered. Wow. Yeah, crazy stuff. So hopefully he gets better soon. Same to Mance Warner. We don't wish ill will on anybody. It's a shame when anybody gets injured like that. But timing-wise, it sounds like it specifically sucks for Danhausen. And
I actually purchased the Fuzzhausen guitar pedal yesterday.
Oh, okay. We talked about that last week.
Yeah, the Oneater guitar pedals based in Flint, Michigan, put out the Danhausen Fuzzhausen pedal. They were only doing 100 of them. And I was working on my truck, so I totally forgot about it, and it sold out. And by the time I came home and like checked my Instagram and I saw that I had missed it, I realized that they just put up a second batch. So they were doing another 100 because the first 100 sold out so fast. And I don't think they're going to do any more after that. But like right before we went live here, there was 9 left. So, I mean, it's interesting. They're like, buy them because Danhausen needs money now.
Yeah.
But they were gonna sell out anyway. But now especially, it's like you feel bad for those guys. Like that's how they make their money is going to shows, wrestling, and doing stuff. So
Sell that merch. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
they got to sell merch. Oh, well done, Peewee. I would say great transition, but one more thing before I transition from never mind. Ring of Honor library for sale. How about that?
Ooh, that's where our focus is going. We're no longer doing a podcast. We're now just saving up our money to buy the Ring of Honor library.
Save your money. Don't give it to Marty. Give it to us. We're going to buy the Ring of Honor library from 2012 to here, and then we're going to flip it on our other podcast and see what we
I
can
like
get
that,
for
yeah.
it.
There you
Just
go.
manufacturing some content there, right there, buddy.
There you go. Let's do Merch Corner. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good name for a segment. That's no longer
Still
gonna
doing
exist.
segments, huh? Yeah, we're still doing segments.
Look, in case you couldn't
Inventing
figure it out,
segments.
the last couple weeks, I just like the stuff that I'm watching on Instagram. I just talk about it on this show. So that's how my creativity has fallen here. What do we see here? Putski says Danhausen has a broken leg. He was on Conan podcast, by the way.
Oh, I'll have to
Putski
check
tells
one
me
out.
that every time I hear him say anything. He tells me about that. And then Hanzo says Mantar was on ECW and got choke slammed by 911. Hanzo, by the way, is living the good life. He's watching early 90s ECW, like hardcore TVs. So he's just watching like Surfer Sandman and all that kind of stuff. And
Is that stuff available now on the Peacock? Because I know like, they lost a bunch of stuff when they switched. Is that all that
idea.
backlog? Is it? Still
I
back?
think so, because Hanzo was asking me, like, is it up? And I kept telling him no, because they haven't put new stuff up. WWE on Peacock sucks. But I think he finally like bit the bullet, and I'm assuming that's where he's watching them. Although he did ask me about the DVDs, because I used to own some of the DVDs. But I'm pretty sure he's watching on the music-edited, crappy WWE version. Merch Corner. Mike Awesome. We did it. Zombie Sailor.
Did we?
What do you think about this? I thought it was Terry Taylor before looking
I
closer.
think this. I have loved a lot of. First of all, they have like Mike Awesome's mugshot on the left of this for some reason.
Oh wow.
I've loved a lot of Zombie's designs. I think his Sabu looks fantastic. I think a lot of his stuff looks really good. Maybe this is just an early drawing, but I don't think this looks good.
I think like it's tough to do a Mike Awesome figure that stands out unless it's the like Japanese face paint one that he has.
Oh sure, the Gladiator, I think his name was.
Yeah, like that would have been better. In my opinion, this just looks like a
Also,
regular
I
guy.
don't need a label that says mullet on this thing pointing to his hair.
Well, that's the designer reminding the designer potentially that there is a mullet. The hands open up on this one, which is interesting for like a power bomb. If you look at,
that's interesting. Yeah, the left hand.
Yeah.
The right
So
hand, yeah.
I thought that was a interesting
It
twist.
does say he is slightly taller than the other ones, which is good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why he. I don't understand it. Like you have to label wrist tape. Doesn't that mean you have to label boots and you have to label trunks?
Yeah.
Why does Mike Awesome have chicken legs? I think that's Putski is noticing the same thing.
Yeah. I agree. It's I don't know. Mike Awesome was not a very different looking person. You know, there wasn't a lot to him. He was a big guy who wore black.
He was larger than life just size wise, but I mean, other than that, if you shrink him down, if you take off 6 inches on him, he doesn't look larger than life.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of
a picture of Mike Awesome's legs.
Are you comparing chicken legs?
All right,
The interesting one was the Cella Toys Gangrel figure.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool with the chalice or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like the blood. The blood is a good touch. The fingernails being black. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I like Gangrel. We're a pro Gangrel podcast. Is that safe to say? You guys like Gangrel?
Yeah, I've never had a problem with him.
Yeah, tune in next week. We're going to talk a lot of Gangrel next week.
Next week, all Brood. all brood. Yeah, I just like this. I like a lot of these Cella Toys ones. They do a pretty good detailed
I've
job.
never heard of Cella Toys.
My
That's,
cousin Nick, man, he is buying every toy from everybody, no matter what.
Really?
Yeah. I don't
He
know.
used to do that 20 years ago. Like, how does he store all this shit?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know where he lives. I don't know how he lives.
An episode of Hoarders, he's just gonna be a house filled with like old ECW figures and like
Me and Sasha standing outside his house with a checkbook.
There was I think Cella Toys, maybe it wasn't Cella Toys, but there was one of these companies that did like a legendary UK wrestler. He kind of looked like
Oh, it was like it was not Haystack Calhoun, the other Calhoun.
no, it was Big Daddy.
Okay, yeah. It's same company, right?
Big Daddy. It's a British guy. He has a
Big
gold
Daddy was
top
like the
hat.
Hogan of the UK.
Yeah, I had no clue who that is. My cousin Nick, stoked. Very stoked.
Oh, that's fine.
Purchased multiples. One to open, one to keep for future reference, one to give to me, I think. He's been buying everything. He bought those Cabbage Patch ones. He found some in Walmart or whatever. I love it. I'm envious of his
Big Daddy's
checkbook.
also at Cella Toys, same as this one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
And then I feel like we've regressed a little bit with these next ones. I don't know. You tell me what you think about these. It's a Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. These look
I like these.
They look like old WCW figures, though.
They look like He-Man figures.
Okay.
They're like overly sized, muscle wise. They are more articulated than He-Man figures. This is the second series in a line. There's a Hollywood Hogan. This is the line. I don't know if you saw it. There's like a Bray Wyatt dressed as like a circus conductor, like lion tamer guy. Very weird set. A Ric Flair is in that set as well. Half that set may have gotten canceled because Bray Wyatt's no longer with the company. Flair canceled himself.
What's the like? I would figure that people who collect toys want it to be more realistic. This to me seems like it steps away from that and makes them more
cartoony. Honestly, I saw these and I was much more likely to pick these up than any other figures.
Yeah, these look like something from 15 years ago.
Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot.
I would have liked them 15 years ago, but we're to the point where it's like, I don't know, like that. I wish I had the picture. There's like a Hogan statue that is like, I mean, it looks like Hulk Hogan, just like 12 inches tall, but I mean, exactly like him to his likeness.
I think
it's
collectors like a variety of stuff. Like they like maybe one of the Hogans that look identical, like a statue that's not posable. Then you need a figure that looks exactly like Hogan but is posable, and then you need like a cartoon version, and then with wrestling, it's like you need a Hollywood Hogan, you need a red and yellow Hogan, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you need a red and yellow Hogan from 2000 where he wore long like pants stuff. Yeah, there's a whole bunch that goes into it, but these will sell. I guarantee that this set specifically will sell, especially with that blue belt with Shawn.
I had a WCW Nash figure that, I mean, I feel like he had the same exact clothes and everything. It looked, I feel like the other one looked better than this one. I don't know. Their arms look weird to me or something. I don't know. It's like Popeye or something.
Okay.
Anyway, next up, I got the Dungeon of Doom airbrushed shirt. This is my favorite thing of all time. $30 from Stash Pages.
From the mall?
Yeah.
What?
At Stash Pages.
A mall
Stash Pages
kiosk.
has some cool ECW stuff. This has Shark, Zodiac, and Kamala airbrushed, and on the back it says Dungeon of Doom with a heart around it. Dude, I bought 4 of these. I don't know, like, I get what my cousin Nick is doing. Like, this is incredible. My entire family will take Christmas photos in this.
There is a current a figure in Targets right now. It's hard to find, but if you could find it, there is a Zodiac figure in the current line of WWE figures.
Wow.
A Brutus from WCW with the black and white face paint. It's crazy the amount of nostalgia that people are having right now.
The last thing that I want to talk about is the funniest thing I found this week. I went to the flea market. I went to Swaporama this week, and I found these GR Flex Force figures. These are not real figures. These are some sort of bootleg figures. They actually look like Karrion Kross, Sheamus, Batista, and John Cena, but it doesn't say their names or anything. The back of the box has a picture of The Rock doing the open hand where he says, what does he say? Come get some or whatever. But on this thing, it says, come on.
Come on. But it is The Rock.
Come
That's
on.
hilarious.
Yeah, man.
You know Rock's famous catchphrase, come on. And then there's a line on there that says, be filled with the tournament stage of intense emotion. Which should definitely be the name of this episode.
Hold on,
Peewee,
Peewee. Don't unclick that picture.
Yeah.
Look at the picture in between the two pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Gene is...
It just says dick.
It just says dick. Oh, that's
Pictures look like balls.
On the front of the box, on the bottom there, it says toy model of a virtual reality.
Yeah.
This is
And Ultimate Warrior Power.
Ultimate Warrior Power is another good one. This whole thing is unbelievable.
How many did you buy, Sash? How many?
I didn't buy any, but if I go back, I'm really considering picking one up. 2 different people were selling this, by the way.
Wow.
2 different vendors were selling this same thing. I took a picture of the one on the right first, and then I came across the one on the left. It was like
that's not
across
the same
the
box.
way.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's also, if you look on the left picture in the middle, there's a little yellow tab on there, like right in the middle of the box.
Yeah.
And it says, try me, play with me, I will give you infinite happiness. I love this thing. This is, do people collect just bootleg stuff? Like,
Oh, yeah. Bootleg stuff's a big deal.
oh man, I love everything about this. I'm definitely getting this and hanging it on my wall. Guys, that's why this show doesn't exist anymore. That's it for the show this week. Get your bootleg Bitter Marks merchandise if you want. Next week, we won't be here. That's it, fellas. Check out scoopandpoop.podbean.com. Check out flipsandbumps.com. We may be back. At the soonest, it's going to be 2022. I'm putting that out there. Let's get through the holidays. Let's get through the turkey days and the Christmas and that stuff. And I don't know. You'll find out about it. We'll text you or something. What's making me bitter this week? AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker taking thumbtacks in a match against Abaddon, who is rarely seen on television, on the AEW B show Rampage this past week. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter this week?
Well, it's November 1st, and you know what that means? It's Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas season. I've heard it 3 times already today, and I want to blow my brains out every time.
Peewee, what's making you bitter this week?
I am now bitter that we are not ending the final episode of the Bitter Marks podcast in 2021 with a Steve Blackman reference.
Nope.
The immediate cutoff of the references that you made in the last few weeks it's been blowing my mind every time.
I've turned a new leaf. I'm willing to accept Steve Blackman.
Wow.
And all his talents and all of his nunchucks.
This is the biggest character arc that we've had on the entire show after doing this for however long, with 3 years or however long we've been doing this. Amazing. Amazing. Guys, it's been a pleasure to do this show with you for the past 3 years. I'm sure we'll be back. This will not be our final episode. If we do have a final episode, we will make sure it's a big deal. But I
don't know that that's true. I don't know that
I'm
that's
just
true.
saying it for right now, just as a placeholder. But yeah, thank you, both of you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you to any of the guys that have listened to this from day one, or if you just listened to one episode. We appreciate all the listens.
Yes.
It really has been a blast. You guys have allowed me to go back and relive some of my wrestling stuff. You guys have gotten me, because of this podcast, I've gotten back into wrestling. My side still hurts. All right, take us home.
I think you should, in the middle of my sentence, just cut the feed to black immediately, like The Sopranos.
Yeah, you got to play some Journey, Don't Stop Believing, I think. That was the song that